It's time to take a shower after chapter 404. Ayo guys, chapter 404 left us with one of the messiest, wildest, and honestly one of the saddest scenes in Rent-A-Girlfriend history. Seriously, it's my own opinion, but I think that this was way worse than chapter 218. And of course the Ruka fan is saying this, but well, after everything that just went down, chapter 405 has a lot of cleanup to do. Seriously, like 2 boxes of Kleenex cleanup, you feel me? But seriously, this video is all about what absolutely needs to happen in the next chapter to keep the story and these characters from falling apart completely. But before that, let's kick off the video by hitting that like button, that hype button if you're on mobile, and subscribe, because seriously, this time the next chapter really does feel like a make it or break it for Rent-A-Girlfriend. So the chapter hint for 405 is I'm sorry, and I said this in the last video that I need this as a fan to come from Ruka. I don't want an apology from Kazuya, but there is room for him to apologize for something, but not the main apology here. And when we get this apology, we don't need some comedic deflection. We already kind of got that at the end of chapter 404 with the pre-jack from Kazuya. Some might say that's very sad, some will say it's funny. I do think that was Reiji kind of being cheeky there, I'm not gonna lie. It felt like a big ass troll because I did not expect that kind of conclusion to the chapter. Let's be real for a moment, let's take a step back and realize that Ruka took this too far, and I know some of you guys will disagree, but if the story wants to maintain her integrity, her likability, and keep readers invested, she needs to acknowledge this, that she ignored Kazuya's discomfort. He said stop once, and that should have been enough. She pushed the situation aggressively, taking advantage of him being way too submissive, and understanding what she still did here was still get in the way of Kazuya and Shizuru, while admitting that she did not want to do this very same thing. If she can apologize here sincerely, her character can still recover, because I do still see Kazuya forgiving Ruka here, even with the cream in his pants still wet, but I think he understands that he let the situation get out of hand here. I do think that he will still see Ruka as a nice girl, that she is still a nice girl at heart, but she took it way too far here. And if she doesn't apologize, she's gonna be so unfixable to a lot of fans, and I understand that. Also, Kazuya can't keep holding back here. Chapter 404 exposed his biggest flaw. He shut down instead of communicating. Instead of genuinely trying to stop Ruka, his plan was to fall out of bed. Like, come on man, really? Really? And I understand the whole sentiment that when a victim, sometimes a victim can't speak up in these very same moments. But once again, let's take a step back and just try to see what Reiji might be trying to say through this interaction. Because if we go back to chapter 403, where Kazuya actually speaks up and tells Ruka to stop because he's in love with Shizuru, Ruka actually stops here. And then Ruka has a sad realization that she was in fact right, that she was lying to herself, that Shizuru and Kazuya had stopped talking, which was not true. They were still talking, and she was basically losing this war. And then she regrettably accepts being second because she really wants to have her first time to be with Kazuya, and maybe still trying to make this relationship work. So we see in 403 that Kazuya speaks up and Ruka actually stops, but she still gives him the option that she's okay of being second and still going all the way here. And then we see in chapter 404, instead of saying something, instead of saying no and actually clearing things out with Ruka, he instead plans on trying to fall out of the bed instead of confronting this situation head on. So now we need to see him speak up, finally telling Ruka that she took this too far, admitting that he also messed up, and finally state out loud that he does not want to continue this relationship. He just needs to grow a backbone for once, because if he stays silent again, Ruka might take this silence and softness as a way of still trying to win him over. It's clear that Kazuya doesn't want to hurt Ruka here, but there's no other way out of this but to hurt her and break up with her. Kazuya is making the mistake of holding Ruka's feelings above his own integrity and also his love for Shizuru, because this trial relationship cannot continue after this, because it's a trial at its tipping point, because Ruka wants way more than Kazuya can reciprocate. Like I said in the past video, no, not the chapter 404 video, this video, Kazuya is on a tightrope where he's about to get with Shizuru and doesn't want to anger Ruka, putting that at jeopardy. And I said it then that was a big mistake, and you could still say that getting with Shizuru is still at risk, because even though this isn't his fault 100%, I'm gonna say that this is not Kazuya's fault. Okay, not 100%, but it's still a very bad position to be in. And I just want to clear out why I say it can't be 100% not his fault, because in the context of what I'm about to say, Kazuya was still entertaining Ruka when he shouldn't be. We have already seen in chapter 395 that Shizuru is now taking Kazuya way more seriously by formally rejecting Umi. Shizuru does not play around and does not entertain Umi here, because in chapter 394 we see him still trying to ask her out on dates. Kazuya obviously doesn't know that Umi has been rejected, but he should be following suit and should have done it before, but should definitely be doing it now, but instead he got himself in a very sticky situation. And now this has opened a nasty can of worms, because even though Shizuru is not in this chapter physically, 405 and then future chapters have to address how Kazuya feels about her after what happened here. Of course he loves her, but he's gonna be feeling way guilty here. Also, how does this affect his commitment to her? Because like I said earlier, he was putting Ruka's feelings over his love for Shizuru. He should have been rejecting Ruka at all costs. And it's so hard to predict what's going to happen next and how Kazuya is going to react. He's obviously going to be very confused about this incident, but is this going to cause any delays, or is this a way to accelerate the future confession? And no, I'm not trying to say that he's trying to rush this ending, but is there any way that he confesses before July 11th? Of course, that seems very unlikely because there's still a lot of things left in the story to actually fix before we get to that final confession. And also, not to mention how this deeply affects his very low to speak of confidence as it is. Let's not get it twisted. Kazuya wants to have sex, he just doesn't want to do it with Ruka. He is in love with Shizuru, let's not forget this. We can't start, self-inserting ourselves into the story saying he should do it, I would have done it. This is not about that. This is not a true horror manga. This is a story about Kazuya and Shizuru. To put it nicely for Kazuya, he is a hopeless romantic who wants to stay honest and stay loyal to his love. And let's just immediately fast forward when the time comes with Shizuru. Will he have some serious trauma from this? And seriously, all jokes aside, premature ejac, oops, just dropped my phone, is such a serious issue, and hopefully for the boy it's just a one-off issue. But it could really affect his confidence and performance, and like I've said before, he puts Shizuru on a pedestal hyping up her beauty, and it's going to be really hard to satisfy perfection. And funny enough, I really did believe that Reiji would actually draw Kazuya having a prem-attack when he eventually did hook up with Shizuru, because I said it before, I really do believe that Reiji is going to draw that. Do you really believe after over 400 chapters that Kazuya and Shizuru, that the manga is going to end immediately as soon as they get together? Hell no, he's going to definitely draw that. He's going to draw it. But after chapter 404, I still wonder if it's still something he wants to explore in the future in this manga. Who knows, maybe it's a topic that runs in his mind. Maybe, maybe he's experienced this firsthand. And then final note before I end this video is that I really do hope that we get a toned down chapter. We don't need any more memes and jokes. The chapter should be emotional and grounded. I want to expect from Kazuya that if he's serious about Shizuru, he's going to cut things off with Ruka here. Because there is no way he can continue being pure while waiting for Shizuru if he keeps on having Ruka around. And as a Ruka fan, I am totally scared in the scenario that Ruka doesn't apologize here and instead gets angry for not getting what she wants. Because at this point, I can't overlook that possibility after this chapter. But I'm not gonna lose out on hope. Ruka was an angel. There's still an angel inside her. There's a way to redeem this character. I mean, I don't know if you can redeem the character, but she needs to apologize. If she can apologize, that will at least help save this character from all of this. Let's not deny the fact that this was a controversial chapter. A lot of people have a lot to say about this, and let's just remember to be respectful down in the comments. Man, chapter 404 was just chaos, and we really need the next chapter to just take a moment, take a deep breath, and seriously reflect on what happened, and let's see what happens next. But that's it for me, guys. Let me know what you guys think chapter 405 needs to do the most: an apology, a breakup, a confession, or just a moment of honesty. Let me know down in the comments below. And as always, guys, if you made it this far into the video, don't forget to hit that like and hype buttons. That will help me out so much. And while you're down there, why not hit the subscribe button and help me out, guys? I am feeling very down bad because the stocks are down. I lost a lot on the Ruka stocks, and not feeling good right now. So yeah, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you. Can I recommend a song? Dirty Living by Kiss has been living in my mind, guys.